It's that time of year again. Time for another Santa Days Ho-Ho Horror. This time around I have a pair of horror flicks that are definitely worth putting on your holiday wish list.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh my God, Christmas time again.
Silent Night was released in 2012. It's streaming on Tubi. It was directed by Stephen C. Miller and written by Jason Rothwell, based on Silent Night, Deadly Night by Charles S. Sellier. There's a special spot reserved in my cold black heart for slasher films. I couldn't get enough of them in the 80s when the slasher craze was at full force. Jason, Michael, Leatherface, Freddy. I had posters of them all on my walls, drew pictures and wrote stories about them whenever I got the chance, and watched the movies over and over on VHS until the tape wore down. Silent Night is undeniably a slasher film of the old school variety. It's got a silent killer making his way through a small town like a great white shark, slaughtering folks in a manner that is visually creative and uses a lot of different cutlery and other murdery weapons. Stephen C. Miller has made a love letter to those old slasher films with Silent Night. Now, if slasher films don't interest you, I understand, it's not for everybody, but if you like slashers, you're going to find a whole lot to like in this one. The original Silent Night, Deadly Night was not a fantastic film. Let's face it. Sure, it's got some gruesome deaths and a fun premise. It's also got some very cool scenes, such as the horrifying opening in the car, Linnea Quigley's death by deer antlers, and that scene where the old man scares the kid talking about the true terrifying story of Christmas. Silent Night, on the other hand, has all of what is cool with the original, but with better actors and better production values. Plus, I'm sorry, not sorry, but this Santa is a whole lot scarier. I really like the design of this killer Santa Claus, with its dark circles around its eyes and dark eye holes. Everything else is just a Santa Claus suit, but that little effect makes for one scary Santa Claus. Jamie King is effective here as a timid cop who's trying to be a capable one. This is the 1-year anniversary of the death of her husband, and though she has a loving family, she still is having a tough time. At work, her boss, Malcolm McDowell, does much better here than in his Loomis role in the Halloween remakes. He's supportive but stern, looking out for her, yet not wanting her difficulties to endanger lives. The cast is rounded out with Donal Logue doing his best Billy Bob Bad Santa, and Curtis Moore playing a lecherous priest who ranks 10.2 on the creep meter. But the film is King's, and she does a good job of struggling with the anniversary of a horrific event, as well as this new series of violent crimes. The shift from following the Santa Claus killer to the police searching for him is an interesting one. In the first one, we followed the troubled child turned homicidal holiday maniac from start to finish. Here, we don't know who the killer is, so instead we tag along with the cops who are searching for the truth. And we don't really get the truth until the very end, but I found the payoff to be a fun homage to the previous films, while keeping us guessing right up until the credits. But you're interested in this movie because it's Santa Claus killing folks, right? How are the kills, you may be asking? The kills are damn good. Thanks for asking. This Santa isn't afraid to get his beard dirty, as all sorts of axes, scythes, knives, and even a blowtorch are packed away in his knapsack. These kill scenes are nicely orchestrated with some cool use of slow-mo and just enough flair of Italian giallo to make them work. There's an especially fantastic scene where the Achilles tendon is sliced of one victim, followed by a gory kill that fans of the original will love. But the wood chipper scene is by far the best sequence of the film, which starts with a half-nude woman running through a Christmas tree yard and ends with, well, a wood chipper pushed to its wood chipping limit. All the kills felt visceral and messy, and fans of some key scenes from the original Silent Night, Deadly Night will be happy to know they show up here as well. Slasher films are often panned for being simplistic in story, and I can't say that this one is complex in any way. There are a few nice twists towards the end, which make for a thrilling finale, but for the most part, Silent Night is just a simplistic and down-to-earth film about a man dressed as Santa who goes on a killing spree on Christmas Eve, targeting the naughty. There are some cool scenes with a naughty kid and a nice kid that will most likely cause some ire with those more sensitive types. But if you're looking for a fun throwback to the 80s with some better than average acting and some red splattery kills, Silent Night will definitely get your Yule log burning. Next is He Sees You When You're Sleeping. It's new, streaming on Tubi. It's directed by Charlie Steeds, and it's written by Dave Lennox. After being the sole survivor of a Christmas Eve massacre by a hatchet-wielding Santa Claus, Chester, played by writer David Lennox, is released from a mental institution and ventures home for the first time in 20 years with his girlfriend Afton, played by Nellie Spackman. Living in the home is Chester's Aunt Marion, played by Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2's Caroline Williams, his cousin Burke, played by Cedric Giegel, and Burke's girlfriend Melody, played by Natalie Veeder, who are all conspiring against Chester to steal his inheritance, including the house, by convincing him that he's not recovered from his mental anguish tormenting him since his parents were murdered. Meanwhile, a killer Santa with an axe is sneaking around the grounds and hacking people to bits when they separate from the group. Borrowing heavily from Silent Night, Deadly Night, with the Christmas Eve killings, the Santa with an axe motif, and even a kooky old man spouting crazy things about the real legend of Santa Claus, He Sees You When You're Sleeping evolves into a classic inheritance scam-style flick where someone is gaslit to believe they're going crazy in order to lose a hefty sum of money. This type of film was quite common in the classic era of cinema, where the audience and the lead are manipulated to believe the world is going sideways. While the story shows its hand and reveals that the family is trying to manipulate Chester a little bit too soon for my tastes, He Sees You When You're Sleeping does turn out to be a fun film and still able to withhold some surprises for the final act. One can tell writer David Lennox has an appreciation for old school thrillers, with the classic setting in an old dark house, an inheritance up for grabs, and a bunch of greedy family members clamoring over one another to get it. There's some nice shades of film noir here, where the worst parts of humanity are on full display when all the cards are on the table. This isn't necessarily overly gory. This is no Terrifier 3 or anything like that. There are some decent kills involving axes, ice skates, and other Christmas items used as weaponry, but none of them are overly grotesque or over the top. They just function to whittle down the cast. The acting is pretty good, with Caroline Williams proving that she is still an extremely talented actress when given the right material. She plays the greedy aunt to perfection and gets some of the film's best lines. David Lennox, who not only wrote the film, also stars as its lead, Chester. He's functional in the role, but honestly, doesn't really seem like leading man material. He's a little too snippy and snide to be likable with his Conan O'Brien hairstyle and prissy mannerisms. The rest of the cast, though, who are all conspiring against Chester, twirl their mustache in a cartoonish and fun way. There's also a smaller role given to Neighbors, Friday the 13th Part 2, and In a Violent Nature's Lauren Marie Taylor that turned out to be a fun little cameo, and she can still belt out a scream like the best of them. He Sees You When You're Sleeping is a fun and harmless little holiday horror. It delivers some gore and twists the story into a film noir mold rather than the typical slasher one. The killer Santa here is basically just a guy with an axe in a Santa suit. Nothing really has been done to make him look spooky or anything like that. In fact, most of the time he's kind of obscured and not really shown dead on because they're trying to keep it under wraps who the character is until the end of the movie. While not everything worked, like the weird Taylor Dane-esque final song, I don't feel like I wasted too much time watching this one. How's that for a recommendation? Okay folks, have you seen any of these movies? Are you gonna check them out? And what holiday horror movies do you want me to check out next? I've got a couple offbeat ones on tap, but I'll take recommendations here and there. Let me know the answers to these and more questions down in the comments. Please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're